Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. What we're about to discuss is truly intriguing and could be a game changer for the Browns' defense this season. Recently, a name has been making waves in NFL circles, especially among Browns fans who are always eager to see the team make smart moves in free agency. We're talking about Shilo Sanders, a talented safety who's just hit the market after being released by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And yes, this could be exactly the kind of addition Cleveland needs to bolster their secondary and give them that extra edge in the AFC North. Shilo Sanders, for those of you who might not be fully up to date, is a young player with a lot of potential. He's been fighting to carve out a spot in the league, and while he's still developing, his physicality and tackling abilities stand out. Sanders was an undrafted free agent, which means he's had to prove himself every single step of the way. It's not easy for someone in that position. You're constantly fighting against the odds, trying to make a roster, trying to show your worth. And in his last preseason game, Sanders got ejected for fighting. Now, some might see that as a red flag, but honestly, it's more a sign of his fierce competitiveness. It's not necessarily the reason he was cut, but it's definitely something that teams will scrutinize. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers, a team with a lot of depth and experience, decided to release Sanders as part of their roster cuts, which they do every year to trim down to the 53-man limit. But here's where it gets interesting. Cleveland's front office, always on the lookout for talent, is now considering giving Sanders a shot. And honestly, it makes sense. The Browns are in a bit of a rebuild mode, trying to find young, athletic pieces that can develop into starters or key role players. Sanders fits that mold perfectly. Plus, there's the added emotional and football connection. Sanders has a brother, Shdeur Sanders, who was drafted by Cleveland in the 5th round earlier this year. The idea of two brothers playing together again, this time in the NFL, is pretty exciting, isn't it? It's a storyline that could energize not just the team, but also the fan base. What's even more compelling is that these two brothers have already played together in college, back when Shdeur was at Colorado and Shilo was at South Carolina. They shared the field for 2 seasons, building chemistry and understanding that could translate well on the NFL gridiron. When Shdeur moved to Colorado and Deion Sanders took over as head coach, Shilo followed suit, playing 2 more seasons alongside his brother. That kind of chemistry, that brotherly connection, can be a real asset for a team looking for cohesion and leadership in the secondary. Imagine the impact of having both Sanders brothers on the same defense. Communication, trust, and the ability to read each other's moves could be a real game changer. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. Why would Cleveland be a better fit for Shilo Sanders than the Buccaneers? Well, first, the Browns are in a different phase of their development. Tampa Bay, with their veteran-laden roster and playoff aspirations, might be looking for more experienced, established players. Cleveland, on the other hand, is building something new. They need to take chances on younger players with upside, even if they're not yet finished products. Sanders, with his college production and flashes of talent, fits that mold perfectly. In terms of team outlook, the Browns' chances of making the playoffs are still considered slim compared to teams like Tampa Bay, which is why adding a project like Sanders could be seen as a low-risk, high-reward move. According to FanDuel odds, the Buccaneers have a -154 chance to make the playoffs, while Cleveland's odds are at +880, which is the worst in the league. That disparity tells you everything about where each team is right now. Tampa is trying to contend, aiming for a deep playoff run, while Cleveland is still fighting to get over the hump and establish themselves as a consistent postseason team. And for Sanders, this is about opportunity. He's hungry to prove himself in the NFL, to develop his game, and to be part of a team that's willing to invest in his potential. The Browns, with their need for depth and versatility in their secondary, could offer just that. Sanders is not a finished product. He's still raw in some areas, especially in coverage awareness, but his tackling and hitting power make him a valuable asset, especially in a division like the AFC North, where physicality and tough defense are key. Looking at his college stats, Sanders played 4 seasons, 2 at South Carolina and 2 at Colorado. His best year came during his junior season at Colorado, where he racked up 70 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 interception that he returned 80 yards for a touchdown, and 4 forced fumbles. That kind of production shows a player who's not just willing to hit, but also to make game-changing plays. In his senior year, he maintained solid numbers with 67 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and another forced fumble. These stats, combined with his aggressive style and physicality, make him an interesting prospect for a team like Cleveland that values tough, versatile defenders. Now, I want to pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Because honestly, this move could be much more than just a depth signing. It could be a statement by Cleveland's front office. They're willing to take calculated risks on players who, with the right development, could be key contributors in the future. Sanders' style fits perfectly with the Browns' identity: tough, aggressive, and relentless. If he can learn to control his emotions and channel that fire positively, he could be a real steal for Cleveland. And let's not forget the importance of special teams and special situational plays. Young players like Sanders often bring energy and physicality that can spark a team in key moments, whether it's a crucial third-down stop or a turnover-producing play. The Browns have been working on improving their defense for a while now, and adding a player like Sanders, who's eager to prove himself, could be the piece that tips the scales in their favor. Plus, having a familiar face with his brother in Cleveland could provide that extra motivation, that boost of confidence needed to excel at the next level. Of course, there are questions about his development and consistency. Sanders still needs to work on his coverage skills, understanding routes and reading plays faster. But that's exactly what coaching staffs love: raw talent with upside, who just needs some guidance and opportunity. Cleveland's defensive coaching staff, led by their coordinator, has a reputation for developing young players, and Sanders could be the perfect project for them. Imagine a scenario where he learns and adapts, becomes a reliable rotational player, and maybe even pushes for a starting role down the line. There's also a compelling narrative here: 2 brothers reunited in the NFL, both eager to leave their mark. Shdeur Sanders, the Browns' 5th-round pick, has already shown promise as a quarterback with a high football IQ. Now, imagine the synergy if his brother Shilo joins him in Cleveland. That kind of story resonates with fans, energizes the locker room, and adds a layer of motivation that can't be measured simply by stats or film. It's about creating a bond, building chemistry, and forging a new chapter in their football journey together. Looking ahead, the Browns' secondary is a work in progress. They've been trying to find the right mix of veterans and young talent. Adding Sanders could give them a much-needed boost in depth, especially at safety, where physicality and tackling are crucial. The AFC North is known for its tough, physical style. Think about the battles against teams like Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Having a young, aggressive safety like Sanders could help Cleveland match that intensity, making their defense even more formidable. In terms of the team's overall strategy, Cleveland has been focusing on building a resilient, tough squad that can grind out wins. They've got a solid core of players, but the secondary has been a bit of a question mark. With the addition of Sanders, even if he doesn't start right away, he can develop into a key rotational piece, contributing on special teams and providing depth in nickel and dime packages. The Browns have shown they're not afraid to take chances on young players with upside, and this move fits perfectly into that mold. And let's be honest, Browns fans, we all know how important it is to have a strong secondary in today's NFL. Quarterbacks are more precise, receivers more explosive, and offenses more creative. The ability to challenge passes, create turnovers, and limit big plays can be the difference between a playoff appearance and an early offseason. Sanders, with his aggressive style and tackling prowess, could be that difference maker that pushes Cleveland's defense to the next level. Now, as we consider all this, It's worth remembering that the NFL is a league of opportunity. Players who get the right chance, the right coaching, and the right environment can flourish. Sanders' journey from undrafted free agent to potential Cleveland Brown is a testament to how perseverance and the right fit matter so much. It's about finding a team that believes in your talent and gives you the platform to succeed. Cleveland, with its current roster needs and rebuilding mindset, might just be that platform for Shilo Sanders. So, fans, what do you think? Do you see Sanders fitting into Cleveland's plans? Could he be a future starter, or will he be more of a rotational guy? How much impact do you think he could have in this defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Your opinion really matters to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more insights about your Cleveland Browns. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, go Browns. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.